What gender double standard do you hate the most? Story 1. As a man, I'm expected to fulfill traditional societal roles of masculinity to attract women, while also fulfilling new criteria of enough, but not too much emotional depth, to intrigue said women and attract them, but not come off emotionally weak or fragile, which would clash with said masculinity. Women, on the other hand, are lauded for breaking norms and having a wide variety of different personality types. Story 2. Women expect men to do traditionally masculine things like fix things and pay for everything, then they get offended if anyone expects traditional feminine things like cooking dinner or cleaning the house. I'm a woman, by the way. It's embarrassing how some females act helpless without a man's help, and then go all feminist without realizing that they are the ones perpetrating the stereotype of weak females. Choose one. Equality or not. You can't cherry-pick equality when it suits you. Story 3. I might get flack for this. The men don't have creepy, scary stories about women, so this isn't as prevalent now. But I remember 4 years ago, someone saying any women can tell you a creeper scary story about men, but men can say the same, like being stalked, having clothing stolen, groped, or even being beaten. Ironically, we go through the same deal, but we typically brushed it off because women weren't generally seen as a threat. And ironically enough, a lot of people I knew directly got seriously hurt because of this, even though we warned them. Story 4. Height differences. If a tall man dates a short woman, it's cute. If a short man dates a tall woman, it's weird. It's something we can't control, and yet short men and tall women get flack for it all the time. Story 5. If a mother wants to scale back her work hours to spend more time with her children, she's a good parent and an example of the gender imbalance in society and her contribution to the gender pay gap. If a father wants to scale back his work hours to spend more time with his children, he's not driven and just doesn't want to work. Story 6. Femininity isn't associated with leadership, so in order to be taken seriously in such a role, women often have to either act like men or rely on the good faith of their employees. Being a leader involves fending off tons of people constantly trying to get under your skin, and having some perceived weight of authority is often your only armor against that. It's very hard to be in a leadership role if people expect a fundamentally different expression of authority from you. Story 7. Some people did a social experiment in a mall one time. When the man bothered the woman, it took less than 10 seconds for someone to come over and help her. When the woman bothered the man, nobody helped him. For 2 hours at a mall filled with people, nobody helped the guy. People even said he was crazy for not wanting her. But equality, right? Story 8. I hate a couple. If a woman is assertive and confident about something and is polite but not overtly friendly, she is considered bossy. If a man does the same thing, he really knows what he's talking about and is confident in his work. Why are women expected to be apologetic and overly friendly all the time? In the other direction, that men can't have certain hobbies without having his sexuality being questioned. Last time I checked, things like painting or singing don't involve genitals at all. But maybe I'm doing those activities wrong. Story 9. I'm a guy that has dyed his hair since he was 17 or so. Apparently, when you reach a certain age, people start accusing you of doing it to hide the gray. What's funny is, some women in and around my age will make such comments, all while sporting a full head of fake auburn hair, or something along those lines themselves. Story 10. For me, it's when I hear in the news that a woman has been let off of charges for doing bad things to a child and such, while for a man that would definitely be prison. Like, I'm sorry, but To let that happen is so wrong. Story 11. I can't be alone around children ever without being treated like a monster. Somebody called the cops on me because I took my niece to the beach last year. Story 12. Going through a divorce, and when my wife called the cops on me, they rolled up fully ready to arrest me. Thankfully, CCTV footage from my security camera saved me. At a later date, when I called the police on her for beating me in front of our less than 2 years old at the time son, they just documented the incident. Female accuses male. She must be telling the truth. Male accuses female of beating him in the presence of a toddler? Well, there's no proof, so we are just going to make a record of this. It's disappointing that this is understood as acceptable. This doesn't just apply to my situation. I've seen it plenty of times where a man is immediately a suspect, while a female is seen as the victim. Women can get just as violent as men, and the immediate rush to assume that the man is the bad guy while the woman is the docile victim is really toxic. To be clear, I'm not saying I want roles reversed. I know there are plenty of cases of women that are victims being afraid to speak up, or having no protection when they accuse a man. What I would like to see is equal treatment of both accusers and accused parties regardless of gender. Story 13. This one is more cultural or based on my own experience. If a girl attempts traditionally male chores, it is considered her job. If a boy attempts traditionally female chores, he is praised. My mom praised one of my guy friends just yesterday for folding a towel after he'd used it. And all of our family friends went wild over the fact that my other guy friend cut up some beans for his mom to then cook. Meanwhile, my sister and I spent the entire weekend cleaning the pool, washing the car, assembling furniture, mowing the lawn, etc. And we heard nothing. Edit. Okay, so not so cultural after all. I do want to add though, that my dad did call out my mom for praising that guy friend over something so menial as folding a towel, and she understood. It's nice to know that men doing traditionally female chores is slowly beginning to be normalized. Story 14. In school, one of the girls was talking about how she grabbed a male classmate's behind, and it was considered funny. I don't know, but if the genders were reversed, it would have been a scandal instead of gossip. Story 15. A good buddy of mine wears jeans and a hoodie every day, but some a-hole told me I can't do the same as a girl because we're supposed to dress nice. That is some BS. Story 16. For women, that it's almost always assumed too quickly that she's on her period or pregnant when she has mood swings. As for men, that they're weak when they cry, because they're not. Crying is normal. Edit. Okay, so I just woke up to 2.7k upvotes. Let me say something, please. I grew up in a very friendly and healthy environment, just without a father figure, which is completely okay. I honestly just wrote what came to my mind first. Story 17. I just hate that men are expected to initiate everything, consider everything, and make the first move always. Sometimes I would like to be asked how my day was going as well. Story 18. You know, I think I could have played with dolls if there were dolls in the house. It seems like fun to me. It doesn't seem like a gender thing. I think I would like to play with dolls. Story 19. As a dad, hardly any children's books ever have a dad character, and when they do, he's usually incompetent or played for laughs. The vast majority of children's books that have a parent as a main character feature a mom. Story 20. Cooking. People still give me weird looks when I tell them I do all the cooking at home. I'm a man, by the way. People still seem to hold on to the belief that women cook at home. Yet the world of fine dining kitchens is a man's world. I'll never understand. Story 21. My wife can be affectionate to our boys in public, but if I do the same with our daughter, I get weird looks. However, I do love how it's now okay to still hold my 8-year-old son's hand, but not my 12-year-old daughter. Swings and roundabouts. Story 22. Not being taught how to work on a car or being talked down by the oil change guy. I'm pretty handy, but was blown off for being a woman. At least YouTube videos are around. Story 23. When only the ladies' room has a diaper changing station. We dads need to change babies too, and the floor of the men's room is not the ideal place. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and activate the bell button to receive notifications to my latest videos.